On IBF featherweight champion Josh Warrington's latest tweet, he said that his wish list of who he would have liked to have faced next would have been Santa Cruz at the top, then Oscar Valdez, and then Kid Galahad. As it turns out, he's been mandated to fight Kid Galahad, so he has to face him if he wants to keep that belt that he worked so hard to get off Lee Selby and then defend really brilliantly against Carl Frampton. So he's going to be doing that. Frank Warren won a purse bid against Eddie Hearn, I believe, so Warrington's going to be getting 65% against 35 to Barry. Kid Galahad, who's done pretty well for himself. He's a guy whose name has always kind of been there, apart from those stupid videos with Billy Joe Saunders he's done, but more so through his potential that he's always seemed to have. He hasn't really made a big move yet in his career, partly because he did get banned from the sport for the best part of 2 years for performance-enhancing drugs. He said he took a shake off his brother. I don't know about that. Sounds dodgy. They didn't accept it. But he's always been a bit in the shadows. Things were very different looking back at 2013. Galahad had had a pretty good domestic win over James Jazza Dickens. He looked like the talented dark horse of the 122-pound division with Rigondeaux at the top. And Frampton and Quigg yet to face each other. It looked like, within those next 2 years, 2013 to 2015, Galahad would probably get a shot at one of the belts and maybe snatch one of them up. But didn't work out. He got banned. He's come back. Hasn't really beaten anyone of note, but he's going to get his shot. People know who he is. Whether it's going to be good enough to be on pay-per-view, I think that, even though I consider now Warrington something of a superstar, at least in Britain, because he's done brilliantly, but I know what the casual audience is like. Doesn't have the biggest punch, and it's at featherweight as well, so those basic things make the average guy who fills up stadiums just be like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this fight. That's just how it works. So they'd have to stack the undercard, as the phrase goes, if they wanted to sell this on pay-per-view, I think. But it's a good fight. But again, going back to that, how things used to look back then, you would have thought, yeah, Kid Galahad is going to develop into the more promising fighter than the neat but more workmanlike and basic Warrington. But how things have changed from what Warrington did last year. He will be going in as the favourite in this one. And looking at his style, which seemed more basic, but now that we've seen what he can do against higher class opponents, a unique blend of swarming and boxing, neat footwork, can change his tactics quickly, keeps his chin down nice and tucked, and he's tough, and he sticks it on you for 12 rounds at a real pace that really recalls like a young Ricky Hatton. That's very probably going to be upsetting the more pure boxing Kid Galahad, who's going to like to fight at a set tempo, at range, and use his moves and nice picking shots well there. But I feel his lack of power, if he had more like of a Prince Nazim type dig, where he could really stop Warrington, he may have more of a chance. But looking at this, I think he's going to struggle to keep up and fend off a guy who's really turned into a complete fighter, and is definitely not going to be complacent in the second defence of a belt again that he worked so hard to win. So I envision a good fight. If it does, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it looks like this is the one. It's going to be a good scrap. Whether, I don't think Warrington will knock him out. It'll probably be a point swarming situation again, but an interesting fight nonetheless. I can definitely think of worse mandatories. Who do you think's going to win and how?